Emergency funds and sinking funds sounds a bit fancy, but actually they really help me save money and get myself out of £18,000 in debt. And if it wasn't for those, I wouldn't feel as stable as I feel with my finances now. And I still have a long way to go to get to where I want to get, but I'm much further along than I was. And in today's video, I want to talk to you about emergency funds and sinking funds, what the difference is, and how you can start saving for them even if you've got hardly any money. Hi, my name is Rachel. I'm a solo mum to one, and on this channel I talk everything about frugal living, budgeting, mum life, and right now everything to do with the house that I've moved into that seriously needs redecorating. So if you like that kind of thing, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos from me. So let's get straight into it and let's start talking about an emergency fund first. So an emergency fund is exactly what it's meant to be for, a fund for an emergency, such as your car breaks down unexpectedly, your washing machine breaks down like mine did when I first moved in here, your boiler might break, there might be some unexpected vet bills, or God forbid, a job loss. So an emergency fund helps with those kind of things and gives you a little bit of peace of mind. Now, if you don't have an emergency fund and your washing machine breaks down, then where are you going to get that money from? If you don't have it in savings, then you are going to have to use a credit card and get yourself in a little bit of debt, which is really not what we want to do, is it? Is get ourselves into debt, especially if we are trying to get out of debt in the first place. So being able to save a little bit of money and have some money set aside, which is just for these big things, these unexpected things that might crop up, then that will give you a little bit of peace of mind. Now, if you don't have a massive emergency fund to start with and your washing machine breaks, but you've managed to save £200, at least you've got £200 to put towards it, and you've only got to find the extra £100, £200 for a brand new one. Or if you're savvy, you get a reconditioned one, because my mum has got several reconditioned washing machines because it's just a little bit cheaper. So if you know anything about emergency funds and you've heard things about emergency funds and how much you should have, it is said the first goal is to reach £1,000 in your emergency fund. Once you've hit that £1,000, you should then start saving for 3 to 6 months of all expenses that comes out of your bank and out of your wages every single month that helps you just survive. So that is your rent, your mortgage, your utility bills, internet, phone, car costs, all those things that come out of your bank every single month that you need to be able to continue to pay for. And that's why they say 3 to 6 months of all expenses just to be able to survive is going to help you if the unexpected happens. Now, as a single parent, that can be quite overwhelming to save that £1,000, especially if you are trying to get out of debt as well. So I follow Dave Ramsey. I don't know if you've heard of him. He is massive in the finance world, and his baby steps say make your £1,000 first and then get out of debt. It's up to you how you do it. I was fortunate enough to get out of debt first, then I saved my £1,000. But if it's easier for you and it gives you more peace of mind to save an emergency fund, then do that first and then focus on your debt. I think that Dave Ramsey has some really good ideas, but also not one thing is going to fit everybody. So I think you've got to do what's best for you. If £1,000 sounds like a lot of money to save for, I don't want you to panic, okay? Because I panicked when I first heard I had to save £1,000. I had no money, I had no income, and I had no idea where I was going to get it from. I got it from selling things online on Facebook Marketplace and Vinted, and I was able to save that £1,000. Also, I started becoming more frugal and I really budgeted my money so that I was able to save little pennies here and there to help me get that £1,000 that I needed. If you feel that you still can't do that and money is really, really tight, here is my advice. Whether you choose to take it or not is completely up to you. But I would just start with saving £10. just £10. Find £10 from somewhere. Either don't buy something at shopping that week if you really don't need it. Look through your freezers and your cupboards. If you follow my grocery hauls, you know what I'm like. Make meal plans so that you don't spend in so much at the grocery store, and also make sure you've got a shopping list so you're not buying anything extra that you don't actually need. And anything that you have extra, you're putting that into an emergency fund to start with. So it's just tiny little steps, tiny little changes which will help you save that £1,000 rather quickly. Now, like I said, if £1,000 sounds too much, or you are just not good at saving and it's something that you know you need to work on, save £10. That's all you have to do. Once you save £10, that will give you confidence to save another £10, or even try and save £20. And once you've got your £20, you try and save £40 and go from there. So you can go straight in and try and save £1,000. But if you need to take really baby steps, start with £10, because a £10 saving is better than a zero saving. So the £1,000 is your goal to start with. But again, if it sounds too big, then knock it down to £500 is my goal, £100 is my goal, £200 is my goal, whatever suits you, whatever you think that you are going to feel less anxiety over, then start there. So it's your savings, it's your money, it's your choice. You don't have to do what all the gurus tell you to do. You just do what's best for you. So if trying to save £100 doesn't fill you with anxiety or dread or fear or anything like that, that's fine. Start there and then build on it from there. If £100 is still too much, start at 50, start at 10. Any number that doesn't make you have anxiety or filled with dread or fear or anything like that, then start there. If you have those feelings, you are more than likely going to not do it, because those feelings can become very overwhelming. Where if you find a number that suits you, that feels comfortable for you, and you start there and you build on it, it's going to be a much easier journey for you to save that first £1,000. So with this emergency fund, where do you keep it? Now, this is completely your choice of what you want to do. Now, for me, mine is in a high yield savings account. I have been thinking a lot about investing, but I don't know much about it. So I don't want to give you any advice or anything like that until I kind of do my own thing and just tell you my journey. But my emergency fund is in a high yield savings account. So once I put money in there, it's going to keep growing in money, and hopefully I'll hit that target a lot sooner than I would if I was just holding it in my house. If you have it in a savings account, you need to have it in an easy access savings account, because this is called an emergency fund. Therefore, it's an emergency. So if you're not able to access that money in an emergency, then it's going to cause a few problems. So if you're going to have a savings account, make sure that you put it in a high yield savings account, but it's also got easy access so you can get to it whenever you need to. If you don't want to put it in a savings account, which I highly suggest you do, but if you don't want to do it, most online banks now have savings pots. So you can transfer money from your account into a savings pot, and you just ignore it and pretend it's not there. And again, that would be very easy access for you. So you can put it in an emergency fund pot, so you know that's what's there. You can keep an eye on how much is going in every single month. If you've got a little bit more, then you could put some more in. Or if it's a tight month and you can't put as much in, then you can just adjust according to your budget or what's going on that month. For example, when it's Christmas, things might be a little bit tighter for you, so therefore maybe you just can't put so much in. But if you have a pot where you can see what's going in all the time, because you're moving it from one part of your bank account to another, then it will be easier for you to adjust the payments as and when you need to. And finally, about emergency funds, before I move on to sinking funds, you need to remember that an emergency fund is for emergencies. It's not for anything else, that you need a little bit of money for a child's birthday, or you need a little bit of money for a school trip or something. This is for real emergencies, such as a job loss, vet bills, a car breakdown, boiler repair, washing machine or the oven breaks, something that is absolutely necessary, that is going to cost a lot more money than a regular event. Emergency fund is just for emergencies and it's a non-negotiable. And also an emergency fund is not to replace any money. So if you've had to spend some money out and then you thought, oh, I've not got no money, I'm going to take it out of my emergency fund and then I'll replace it. That's not how this works. It doesn't work that way. It stays in there for the emergencies and you find other ways and other methods to be able to find money for anything else that you want to do. So it isn't for a girls' weekend away or a night out. It is for real emergencies that is you are stuck in a jam and you're going to need quite a lot of money very quickly, but you've already got your emergency fund saved up to help you out. So let's move on to sinking funds. Now, they are different to emergency funds, and I didn't know this when I first started learning about finances and I started to take more control of my finances. And if you want to know how to take control of your finances, then check the link in the description box below because I've already done a video on that. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future financial videos that I'm sharing my opinions on. A sinking fund is different to an emergency fund. So the emergency fund is for the big things that could go wrong that is unexpected. The sinking funds are for the things that we are expecting but might creep up on us when we least expect it, because life can move very quickly. So these are things such as birthdays, Christmas, any annual subscriptions you have, your car MOT or service, back to school costs, and even holidays. So a sinking fund is putting a little bit of money away every single month to afford those things that creep up on us as we carry on with life and we're just trying to get through. And then Christmas comes up and we have to find all this money to go through Christmas. Now, you know how I feel about Christmas. You watched my whole series of my Christmas last year, and I will link the playlist in the description box below with all my tips and tricks and everything else. I know it's January, but just in case you're a Christmas person, I'll link it down below. So if you could put a little bit of money away every single month for a sinking fund for when these things kind of come up and you think, oh my God, is it that time of year already? You've already got money set aside that you can just dip into when you need to and pay for things that way. This helps those little things becoming the big emergencies, which you then feel that you want to go and dip into your emergency fund for. So a sinking fund is things that happen every single year that we know is going to happen every single year, but we never seem to be prepared. Whereas an emergency fund are unexpected things that happen that we need the money for, and usually the unexpected things are the most expensive. So if you are just starting your sinking funds journey, don't put too many sinking funds in your life right now. Pick 1 to 3 sinking funds that you feel are important. So my sinking funds were Christmas, birthdays, and my car. And my car included my insurance and my MOT because I pay for my insurance annually rather than monthly. So I make sure that I'm putting money away in my sinking funds for my car and for Christmas and for birthdays as well. If you put too many sinking funds in your life right now, you will get overwhelmed and more than likely not bother doing it. And then you'll kick yourself when these things come up, because then that's when you need to have and find all this money and you'll feel a lot of anxiety, you'll feel a lot of stress and it just be too overwhelming. So don't pick too many, just pick 1, 2 or 3 sinking funds that feel most important to you. And we're all different, so it doesn't have to be anything in particular that one person has. You can have what fits you and your family. And when it comes to sinking funds, you only have to put a couple of quid away in each pot every single week. So even if you're only putting £2 a week in every single pot that you have, you only have 3, that's £6 a week. And you can find that relatively quickly by spare change, loose change around your house that people find all the time. We found a couple of quid in the coat pocket the other day. So it's always good to find the extra couple of quid. You could put that in your sinking fund. You could also sell some things online as well and use that money to fund your sinking funds. Now, there are a couple of ways where you can actually keep this money. Now, like I said, with the emergency fund, you could do some pots online and just transfer money across as and when you have it. So you can have a car pot, a Christmas pot and a birthday pot. Write down how much you particularly want in each pot as a target, and then just start putting money in there. If you reach one goal, say for birthdays you want £200 and you reach that goal, then you can stop there, and then you can add extra money to the Christmas fund or extra money to the car fund if you wanted to. You could do it that way with pots in your online banking. However, some people, they prefer to do cash envelopes because some people like to actually see the money and see it building in front of them rather than have it on an app. There's lots of places that you can buy these little wallets and these cash envelope wallets. I will link a few in the description box below that you can get, or you could just buy a pack of envelopes and do it that way if you'd rather do it that way. On each one, you put on there what the envelope is for and how much your target is to get there. And every time you got some money at the end of the week, or you empty your purse out at the end of the week, or every £2 that you get from the shop, you put that into your sinking funds, you put them in your envelopes each week, and you're able to see the money increase. So little savings every single week leads up to big savings in the long run. So you can either do it with cash envelopes that you have in your hand, or you can put it in money pots with online banking, such as Monzo, Starling, and I think Revolt is another one. So that is what a sinking fund is and what an emergency fund is. So let's just give a little overhaul of what both of them are. So an emergency fund is for those unexpected moments, those oh no moments. They're rare and they can actually cause a big impact, such as car repairs, vet bills, washing machine breaking, boiler breaking down, oven breaking, or anything like that. Those unexpected moments that we're not prepared for, an emergency fund helps cover all of it or some of the costs, so you're not using extra money on a credit card or dipping into your own savings for the future. A sinking fund is something that you are expecting. It happens every single year. They're planned events, you know they're coming, but you're not always prepared for them. So that is what an emergency fund and a sinking fund is. Now, emergency fund, like we said, start really small. If you're not good at saving or finances cause you a lot of anxiety and fear, start really small. £10 is better than nothing at all, and then building it from there. And as for the sinking funds, don't put too many pots because it'll be too overwhelming for you. Pick 1 to 3 that you feel that you would really like to have extra money for those particular events, such as birthdays, Christmas, and car if you have one. Start building those ones up. Once you've built those ones up, you can add more on if you want to. When the actual event comes round and you've had to use that money, then you just start again. For both the emergency fund and the sinking fund, just remember it doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be fast. And just remember that consistency is the most important thing, because consistency, little and often, actually builds up into a bigger saving. Now, I hope that I've come across as showing that you don't have to have a lot of stress over this. You can make it very small and just do little bits here and there, what feels comfortable for you. With someone that suffers with a lot of high anxiety, and when it comes to finances, I suffered massively until I learned more and more about it. I would just learn a small amount about finances, take a break and come back the next day, because I found it very overwhelming, very shameful, and I didn't like talking about it. I wanted to shut the door on it and pretend it wasn't there. But once I actually faced my finances and I learned about emergency funds and I learned about sinking funds, and I put small amounts away little and often, and things built up over time, it actually gave me a lot of peace of mind and didn't have as much stress and as much anxiety. But with someone that suffers with that, I know that starting very, very small is better than not starting at all. Some people may say that, oh, it's a luxury that you're able to save an emergency fund and a sinking fund. It's actually about protection. It's protecting myself and my son from, if anything breaks down, that then I don't have to cancel any birthday plans for him, which is fastly coming up in the next couple of weeks, and I can still have his birthday party and I can still do birthday presents for him without having to think, oh my god, something else is broken. That money that I was going to use for him, I now have to go and use for this, because this is something we need to survive with. Having that emergency fund in my account actually gives me peace of mind that if anything does break down, I've got that there to be able to sort that out, and I can just replenish that as and when, starting over, because I've already done it before. And because you know you can do it, if you've already done it before, gives you confidence to know that you can do it again. On a final note, just to let you know, I am not a financial advisor. This is just what I have done, what I have learned, that I'm sharing with you in the hope that it will help you learn something new as well, help you start getting control of your finances. And if you want to take it any further with your finances and get more advice, then I do suggest you seek out an actual financial advisor that can help you with your money and help guide you in the right direction that suits you and suits your lifestyle. So again, I hope that I have helped in some way, even if I just gave you a little bit of advice, or I've helped you start thinking about your finances in a way that you feel that you could do it and you've got. And starting little and often is better than starting with a massive big mountain. Again, that's the mountain. Start with the first step, and that's all you need to do to get started. If you've liked today's video, don't forget to hit that like button. If you think someone else can benefit from this and it can help them learn about their finances, then don't forget to share it with a friend as well. And finally, as always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future videos from me. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope whenever you're watching this, you're having a good morning, good day, or good evening, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.